Good morning, guys. Right, so here's a little marsh. Oh, it's got leaves on it. Never mind. It was sitting outside yesterday. That's how that's happened. It's raining today. I can't be bothered putting this little red Sylvia outside in the rain. Need to get the march out of the way so I can put the Sylvia down, down on the ground to carry on with what we're doing there. As you might see, some things are now missing from the engine bay. The big roundy noisy thing, and the box of cogs and shafty bit and all that. Just waiting on our low volume technical association to come back with an answer to confirm our plan of attack is appropriate. So anyway, I posted something up, said to you guys, if you give me some questions I'll give you some answers. Sorry about the wobbly camera. So we'll do something a bit different. We'll turn the camera around and we'll face it at Glenn. I'll lean on the car here and hopefully I won't wobble around too much. Yeah, so there were 3 questions, 2 of them pretty much the same question. One asked the Kiwi way, one asked the Australian way. Why did they build the car? To have something different. That's the guts of it. We could have gone and purchased a lot of things with the investment in this car. We could have procured a number of vehicles that would have run faster lap times and been more competitive in New Zealand Super Lap Series, but I was of the opinion that perhaps people are getting a little bit tired of seeing the same cars turning up at the track all the time, pretty much with just different drivers and different stickers, and people go out there and they say they're building something different, and you look at the car and just isn't, it's the same recipe repeated with slightly different ingredients. It's like my banana cake's completely different to your banana cake because I put passion fruit icing on it instead of vanilla icing. It's still a banana cake. So this car here was built to be something different. There's one other one that we know of in the UK that was built by a company called RML, and it's very similar to this car. So they put essentially the same engine and gearbox into the back of it. That was achieved slightly differently, but it was in the back of the car. And apart from that, there's not a lot the same. The colour scheme on this, I make no excuses, that is to reflect what that car was when that car was built, because originally this was a very loose copy of that. I won't call it a replica or a clone, it was just like in respect of what they had done, I'll call it that. So I had a 300 ZX. It didn't have much safety gear in it. In fact, it had a fire extinguisher, and that's about as far as it goes as far as safety gear. It was a road car other than that, and had a big moment with that. Fell off turn 1 at pretty high speed and recovered it, like straight lined across the grass and back on and carried on. But it made me think that, hey, that could have gone a lot worse than that, and it could have been quite seriously hurt potentially. So that was at the point we decided we could either put a whole heap of safety gear into that car, which was going to be difficult because I'm 6 foot tall and there's not particularly heaps of room inside those little cars, or we could just build a whole nother car and eventually sell the 300 ZX when the time came, which is the path we went down, and that's what you've got to look at now. Question 2: will we ever see the car at World Time Attack Challenge? Ever is a long time. Not this year. I have spoken with Ian about the possibility with that. The issue is it doesn't actually comply with World Time Attack Challenge rules, in the sense that we've put the engine in the back of the car and you can't really do that. So that doesn't work. And then the other thing is we'll get our butts kicked, because it was only ever designed to look cool, sound cool, have fun, be a laugh, try some things that other people just basically most people don't do these days, and and have something different. And so of course it doesn't comply, and it's not necessarily the fastest thing out there. And we'd go over there and I don't know where we would place in the field. I haven't looked at who's running this year. We can't see who's running next year. We'd just you'd go over there only for the spectacle of having the car there and having something different, and whether that equates to making sense as far as the organisers and the sponsors and all that sort of carry on, that's something that's a bigger thing than just me saying it's going to go to World Time Attack Challenge. That's something that's going to involve other people, and we may discuss it further. It's good that it wasn't attempted to get it over there this year, because we're still I think we might have got it, but we're still forging on, just dealing with little teething issues with the whole four-wheel drive system. You know, it's something it's quite different, so you have to pick through all the little problems, because you can't just follow the recipe that everyone else does with all their other cars. Going back to what I said earlier, you know, we could buy any number of cars and follow a recipe and build something a piece of cake, and you don't even actually have to be smart or intelligent to do it. You just follow a recipe and what's been done before, and it works, you know. So we've done something unique, and the majority of the problems have had solutions that have come from me, and that's really what it was all about. So that was the 2/3 questions that were asked, and then I thought, why don't we touch on something else that's quite humorous and a touch frustrating at the same time. So a long time ago, we had somebody post up online that he was of the opinion that the March was dangerous, and one of the things that he used to say that the March was dangerous was that he claimed that it pulled the front wheels off the ground while it was on the dyno. So, and I know where that came from. His mate was there when the car was dynoed, and there were quite soft springs in the front of the car at that point in time. So while it was running on the dyno at full power, the front of the car was lifting up possibly 15 millimeters or something like that. And the tyres were certainly still on the ground, and anyone with any common sense understands that that's what's going to happen. Every car does it to some extent. You only have to watch a dyno run on any dyno and you'll see it happen with any car standard. But these guys had it in their head to be hateful and cause trouble, so they exaggerated this and said that the front wheels lift off the ground. So let's go through the maths and just prove how just stupid that comment is. So we'll just move over here to our whiteboard. Here is a beautiful picture of the Nissan March. So this is 100% to scale, of course, and it's absolutely perfect, and there's no errors with this drawing whatsoever. Sarcasm. Here's our dyno pack hub dyno bolted to our rear axle. Okay, and here's the ground here. So the claim is that the car wheel stood. So it did that big gap between here, the ground, and the front wheels. This is what was posted in public by somebody who's actually supposed to be a smart person. Supposed to be. Here's the dyno figures from later on, actually, in Mark II of the March. This is a higher power figure than what the car had when the wheels were claimed to have come off the ground. So it's 706 Newton meters at the engine before it goes through the big cogs in the diff, right? So that's as predicted by the dyno. There'll be some error there, and when we get to the end of this equation, you'll see that that does not matter how much that error is. It made 580 horsepower at the hubs, and usually there's something like 10 to 12% or something like that through the drivetrain loss to give you horsepower at the engine. So when I say it's 650 horsepower, and some people question that, if you said it was a 10% loss, it's 638 horsepower. If you said it's 12% loss, it's something closer to 650. And in any case, we are running ever so slightly more boost than that now, so 650 at the engine, extremely plausible. No one should be questioning that if they have any real knowledge. So how do we work out how much force is applied at the front wheels by the rear axle, by the engine, etc. when it's running at full power? Well, you should be in 4th gear or 5th gear or whatever gear that's 1-to-1, depending on what gearbox you're running, and then through the diff, which is a ratio of approximately 4.2 on this car. So then what you do is you times 706 Newton meters, which is produced here, by 4.2, and that gives you your Newton meters at your rear axle, which of course runs that way. Ignore my drawing. Over here we have that equation. 706 times 4.2, 2,965.2 Newton meters. Sounds good, eh? That's heaps. Man, that'll definitely pull the wheels off the ground, eh? You would think. Like, yeah, that's a big number. So anyway, so now what's happening is, because torque is force times distance, we've got a distance that's 2.4 meters, not 1 meter. Why did I write 2.5? Never mind. 2.4 meters, not 1 meter. So the force is actually divided by 2.4. So that's 2965.2 divided by 2.4. 1235.5 newtons. That's applied here in newtons. Now we need to convert that to kgs because it's just easier to do it that way. So that's divided by 9.81. And anyone can search all of these things. These are all standard. I'm not trying to do any funny maths here. 125.94 kgs. So that car on the dyno at full power in fourth gear can only produce at the front axle 125 kgs. Oh, let's give them 126 for argument's sake. 126 kgs of lift. Now that car weighed 400 kgs on the front axle, thereabouts. So as you can see, that's it's not playing out too well for our mate that claimed that it pulled the front wheels off the ground. So I'll turn that back around so you can see me for a second. So given that and the sorry about the wobbling there. Given that and the obvious error that this person has when it comes to understanding fact from fiction, just be wary of what you guys are paying attention to online. I know there's a few of you that have fallen victim to the stories that are coming from a particular camp, and you think that what they're saying is true, and some of you are supporting those stories online. Just be really careful about that, because there's a couple of sickos out there, and they like to make stories up, and you really, it's just not a good look being on the wrong team, you know, supporting the wrong people. They think they're cool, and you know, they bang the drums and they make them sound so, you know, they're awesome and blah blah blah, and oh, this band's bad because he did this and he did that. Just watch out for all that, because most of that has about as much truth in it as the old wheel standing on the dyno thing. Just just bullshit. But yeah. So anyway, hopefully you found the maths entertaining, and if you like, I can do a different version of that without all the guff either side of it, and just and we could do other things like that as well. I don't really want to copy the other fella that's on the internet. That's he's quite annoying, if I'm honest. I don't really want to copy that fella. But anyway, hopefully you like that. Feel free to share the video around. It'd be good that that the New Zealand motorsport community actually had some truth thrown around the place rather than some bullshit, because we're tired of seeing the bullshit, let's be honest. And yeah, alright, catch us later.